Hey, what's up ladies and gents, welcome to my ultimate dribbling tutorial. In today's video I'm going to be showing you how to dribble with my controller displayed on screen, telling you my secret method to drift past players with ease, talking about the best skills to use, sharing the best dribblers who can be bought for GP, showing you the best dribbler builds, and so much more. You are not going to want to miss this, because within no time you're going to be slaloming your way past defenders in eFootball 2024, and this is the only dribbling tutorial that you are ever going to need. Let's start with the method, as this is the most important thing you can learn. Without this and understanding the importance of it, you'll never ever do a crazy dribble like you're going to see from Pedri here. Forget the skill moves or what I'm doing with the left stick, we will cover that later. The most important thing when starting a dribble is to focus on your opponent's nearby player. Listen to what I'm telling you. Don't look at your player. Don't look for other players unless you intend to play a pass, but I'll touch more on this later. Focus on your opponent's nearby player. Now that you're looking at him, look at what he's doing. Is he sprinting? Is he running towards you? Is he running alongside you? His momentum is your weapon. Use that against him. His urgency to get the ball back is how you're going to destroy him. Now learn how to set traps. Look how I cut inside here. Why do I do this? So from my perspective, I'm getting his brain to think that I want to play the ball forwards. But what I really want is his player that's stuck to the touchline to move off the touchline so I can cut in behind him. And that is going to be my escape route forward. I can't play the ball backwards, so he knows my only option is to play it forwards into my striker, who could be a bit isolated. The pass across field to Pogba is a bit too risky, especially with the amount of players he has forward. So look at that simple turn to eliminate him, because I used his momentum as a weapon against him. I jinked through the challenges, and I'm going to show you more on this in a bit with the controller on screen. Now I want to draw in one more player before I release Pogba, who is in acres of space to drive forward and do what Pogba does, which is score an absolute worldie. But he's allowed to do that because Chiesa made something out of nothing, and that's the key point about dribbling. Sometimes defenses are so locked down, you just need to find that little bit of spark, little bit of inspiration to break these defenses down. You can't just pass all the time. You have to know how to dribble to give you that X factor to get the wins you need. My next top tip is to dribble diagonally. I do this so it gives me more time to see the defender approach and more time to react. Also, if he does come out of defense, it's going to disjoin that defensive line, which might allow for a through ball. Now I cut inside his defender with ease. I perform a fake shot by pressing the shoot button followed by the pass button, which is very effective in the penalty box for freezing defenders, especially those who like to hold down the physical button. So that is going to freeze the defender, which creates an opening and allows me to score. One of the most underrated button combinations is R1 and R2 if you're on the PlayStation, or right bumper and right trigger if you're on Xbox, with no other inputs. This allows your player to turn and face goal with the least use of animation, best used in the wide areas. If the ball is loose like you're seeing here, then press the shoot button followed by R1 and R2, or right bumper and right trigger, and this will make your player stop the ball, turn to face goal quickly with the smallest animation. Now I can face up the defender, perform a double touch, which is one of the most effective skills to use, and the fake shot again to freeze the defender before scoring. Now I'm going to show you with a controller on screen how to perform these tricky close control dribbles, useful for online and offline play, and you don't even need the best players. You just need to find players that feel good on the ball, such as Hannibal, Pogba, Martial, Chiesa, and many more. Those are just a few of my recommended players, but Chiesa so far is the best in my opinion. And I'm going to share his build later in this video, and these are players that are all bought using GP. I'm using Casemiro and deliberately delaying my pass to attract as many of my opponent's players to him as possible. This is going to give Hannibal a pocket of space to work with and prevent any players chasing him from behind, so he only needs to focus on players coming towards him. There are no skill moves used here, just walking with the ball using left stick, and when the defender comes out to close me down, initiate RB or R1 and then angle your left stick somewhere between 45 and 90 degrees from the approaching player. This allows a much tighter, quicker turn. It activates quick feet, which I'm going to show you later on with Pogba. The only time you press sprint is if there's space in behind the defense, like between the defense and goalkeeper, because you don't want anyone touching you whilst you shoot, as it reduces your shot accuracy. So that's the only time you'd use the sprint. If someone is aggressively using secondary player press and approaching you with two players to try and win the ball, just face away, use the R1 and RB again to turn tightly, and just apply sprint once you create a gap between the players approaching you and surrounding players, as you're seeing here. I turn as there's a big gap between their defense and midfield. I do the same again for another player and eventually brought down for the free kick, which Pogba will dispatch. Oh yeah, always pull back on your free kicks and it'll always go over the wall, providing you apply around 50 to 60% power. Another important tip for dribbling, especially the quick feet, which you're going to see here from Pogba, you need to have a light touch on your left stick. It's common to push the left stick in its fullest direction, and what my gamepad on screen won't show you is that I'm not pushing the left stick all the way. It's gentle touches which allow me to change direction so often, so quick. If you push it full lock in one direction, you aren't going to be able to maneuver your player as quick. So make sure the touches to the left stick are light. Go into training mode to check the difference. Now I want to share with you my Chiesa build, as he is the best dribbler I've had in eFootball. Excellent close control, great acceleration for bursting into the penalty box, and he has an end product too. Whether he is crossing or shooting, usually finds his man or the target more often than not. So deadly in the final third and an absolute game changer. One thing I would advise against when dribbling is using shielding. In my opinion, Konami need to work on shielding because at the moment it is broken. It's useless. Even with strongest players, including those with high balance stats, cannot fend off the opposition. However, it did work here with Garnacho, and that is a very rare occurrence. You're best off turning away from trouble, even turning away as we saw earlier with Hannibal, and then just using R1 and RB or right bumper to turn sharply. In my next video, I'm going to share with you how I leveled former Manchester United legend Andy Cole. I did numerous resets of his points progression to get the best version of him, and now he is absolutely insane. Good close control and an unbelievably quick turn with deadly finishing, make him a real threat. He's banging in the goals for me at the moment, and I'm sure a few of you might have him in your squad because he was one of the free players you could pick up with the eFootball points. So be sure to stay tuned to the channel if you want to see that build. Now I want to focus on the top skills that you can tie in with any dribble. Let's start with the top three. In first place is the double touch in eFootball, which is the most effective skill. Some players perform it better than others, and that depends on the player skills. For example, if the player has double touch, flip flap and sole control, it will be performed even faster than a player with just the double touch skill alone. In second place is the Marseille Turn or roulette. I absolutely love this skill for turning to face a certain direction, either to make a pass, to line up a shot, or to roll a defender and leave him on his arse. In third place, the draw and open or draw and close, as you're going to be seeing Pedri using here. It's great to use when players are side by side with yours, allowing you to cut inside and use their momentum against them, and it just sort of allows you to reset and restart your next dribble. Those are the top 3, but I would say the step over is very nice, good for one-on-one situations. It disables the defender magnetism if they're holding the press button. It also allows you to turn 90 degrees very quickly. The only reason it didn't make my top 3 this time is because the dribbling I showed you earlier is just as effective now that you can use R1 or the right bumper. The final mention is the Overtake feint, which allows you or your player to run past the ball, which is great in wide areas, providing that illusion that you're running or sprinting faster, but instead you're going to cut inside the player who has just used his sprint as he fell for the trick. Now, whilst I said you need to focus on your opponent's player, don't forget to have a quick glance during a quiet moment in that dribble to look for a pass. You still need to remain unpredictable, especially against an online opponent, as Chiesa finds Mbappe here for the tap-in. And the same happens here. I beat a player with Marseille, but you can see him getting closed down, and Nkunku is in a nice spot here to receive the ball, who then goes on to score. That concludes my ultimate dribbling tutorial with over 20 tips. With the use of these tips, you are going to be melting defences, and I want to hear your feedback and stories on any dribbles you perform. That is all from me, ladies and gents. Let me know what you want to see next on the channel, and until next time, thank you for watching and goodbye.